1960, Truro, Nova Scotia. Small town. Busy days, quiet nights. Until a new kind of music shakes things up. Rock and roll on the radio and on vinyl. It makes kids sway their hips and move their feet. It stirs the soul. Rockers come to life in every town. In Truro, the local Novatones inspire younger kids to dream of forming their own bands. One group of Truro teens calls itself the Lincolns. In the beginning, 2 guitars, drums, piano, and sax. Then, one night, oh lucky night, an unknown singer tries out. In that instant, the Lincolns discover their soulful voice, Frank MacKay. The band develops its sound and identity. The sweet-sounding Lincolns start to soar. Truro's Murray Dorrington and other black musicians have a big influence on the band. Their own careers are limited by the racism of the time, but black musicians love jamming with the Lincolns, and the love is mutual. Increasingly, the Lincolns concentrate on R&B and soul. But 1960s Nova Scotia has racial tensions. When one dance hall owner tells the Lincolns he will not admit any black kids, the Lincolns refuse to play. They make the owner back down. The Lincolns are a unifying force. Their dances bring everyone together, regardless of race, religion, or class. Young people love the intensity and fun of the Lincoln experience. In 1964, everyone suddenly wants Beatles songs, and not much else. The Lincolns call it quits and go their separate ways. But a year later, in 1965, the band gets back together.
I'd like you to meet our special guests now on Where It's At. When we first heard them, we were simply knocked right out of our heads, and I think you will be too. They hail from Truro, Nova Scotia, the Lincolns with Frank MacKay. Here they are.
There's a new guy on bass, and they add a full-time organist. Together, the new Lincolns offer even more of a powerhouse sound. One fan recalls they were like a huge freight train roaring down the track, syncopated grooves, roaring solos, pumping bass, sweet soul. Then, this voice, bigger than the room, soaring high above. The Lincolns draw huge crowds across the Maritimes. Their brand, join in the soul. With 1968 comes upheaval, around the world and inside the band. One Lincoln dies, while 2 leave and others take their place. Despite the changes, the Lincolns remain the Maritime's premier band, especially at universities, with thousands of die-hard fans. Then comes 1969. The mainstays of the band are lured away to join some other veteran Nova Scotian musicians in a new Toronto-based supergroup called Soma. After a glorious decade, the story of the Lincolns comes to an end. Except, it doesn't. Not for another 50 years. After nearly a decade apart, the Lincolns come together again in 1978, performing 2 reunion shows that rekindle the magic of the 60s, kicking off 4 more decades of sold-out reunion concerts. Rock and roll will never die. Long live the Lincolns, and live music everywhere.
Well, I asked this little girl to dance, this is what she said. Waiting for my Johnny, Johnny, won't you please come home? Yeah, waiting for my Johnny, Johnny, won't you please come home? Until Johnny come home, there ain't a thing that I'm gonna do wrong. Oh no!
Kings of Friday Night, The Lincolns tells the captivating story of a charismatic 1960s band. Readers get to go behind the scenes, out on the road, and down on the dance floor with their fans. It's a story both local and universal, with insights into popular culture in Nova Scotia during the 1950s and 1960s.